Okay, welcome back everyone to the final of the 2019 Craig Roberts Memorial Trophy between Simon Coupe and John Bailey. This promises to be a great final with both players in superb form, just underlined by John with his first bowl, which is a front toucher. And Simon took a look at John and said, wow, is this what I've got to expect for the rest of the game? But both players have been in fine form. Simon opening with a great win over 3 times previous winner Glyn Cookson, and then backed that up with a win over last year's winner Wayne Ditchfield, 21-15. And John registered 2 impressive wins in the semi-final. He beats Tommy Johnson, and in the quarter-final he beats Kevin Shaw. That was a 21-20 thriller. Tommy Johnson game was 21-16 to John. And once again, joined by my sparring partner and a great friend of many a year, Mike Chamberlain. Mike, how do you see this going?
Well, first of all, very interesting that the bookies have made Simon the favourite. Only just, but he's just making Simon the favourite. I think of the 2 players, he's been the one that's been banging form. John just struggling a little bit. But now the green's going to start getting a bit pushier, I can just see. Well, I'm going to stick with John. Left-hander, got to stick with John.
Yeah, I do tend to agree, but for interest, I will go that 50p that we've been betting, and I'll back Simon for this final. But I think we're in for a great game, and that's been underlined by the fact that John has led a 2-foot bowl. Simon has just put a 6-inch bowl against the jack. I think it's Simon line 1, but DT Evans will confirm. And he does confirm that it's 1 to Simon. But
John will be up at this.
Yep. Wanting to give the bowl a chance. Actually, in the sort of like break before the final, just speaking to a few people, and people were very much in agreement with yourself, Mike, in terms of sort of like just saying that John has been, by his very high standards, and we are talking very high standards, having already won one of the competitions in the Colwyn Bay Festival, just appears to be not at the top form. But when John gets to a final, well, you know, all bets are off. He goes up another gear. But then again, so does Simon. I mean, crikey, both of these guys' CVs. Well, you'd swap with them if ever you got the chance. Both are so impressive in terms of what they've won in the game.
Bit disappointed with John's second ball there, playing short at that. I think he was disappointed himself. He went the other peg, and I'm sure he intended to run the jack, but just fell short. Yeah. Simon just might have got another one. They're both looking. They're all looking, giving it a good coating and looking.
Yes.
And even DT's not sure, so it must be a measure.
Yes, absolutely. If DT's not sure,
looking very smart in that jumper, DT.
Well, yes, indeed, yes, very fetching.
I think he's washed his hair. And his shoes are quite.
He's now made a decision, which I think I don't disagree with at all.
Trouble's here.
Yeah, we're now joined by Shropshire's finest and one of the game's finest, Mr. Callum Wright, who always enjoys coming to the North Wales coast and enjoying the sea air. How's it been this year for you, Callum?
It's been all right, Roger. Yeah. To be honest, I've had a lovely week's stay with my partner and my little girl, who was 1 last weekend. Yeah. Oh, so we've enjoyed coming down to this part of the world and spending a nice week here. On a bowling front, it could have been a bit better. The greens have been a little bit heavy this week and possibly not to my liking.
Did you manage to win any games this week?
I've won a couple, right, but not as many as I'd like. Thanks for pointing that out. But I am in 2 finals tomorrow. I'm in the semi-final for the visitors one, the Capstan, is it?
Yes, the Capstan Challenge Cup,
yes. The last 8 with the Bill Hughes as well. So
very good.
It'd be nice if I could take something out of the week.
Some great chances.
Is that the big, that one? That's
the Bill Hughes.
The FA Cup?
No. That's the George Davis. That's the
George Davis, and I bombed out of that this afternoon, 21-20.
Beautiful trophy.
It is a beautiful
Beautiful
trophy.
trophy. They don't let you
Have
take that home.
No,
do they?
no,
No.
it's insured for a ridiculous amount of money.
Mm.
And
Is it solid
it's
silver?
yeah, solid silver. It's worth it. Well, the last time I was told it was worth about £35,000. So it's a serious piece
Really?
of silverware. It's like the European Cup. I don't know whether you've seen it.
So,
that's
well,
all, but
doesn't look like I'm going to get to see
well,
it, to be honest, but there we
just,
go.
I'm sure you'll get your hands on it
Hope so.
one day, Callum. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely sure. But yeah, it's been a bit of an odd week weather-wise, isn't it? And I don't think that's helped.
No, I think you're definitely right, Roger. I don't think that the weather's helped, obviously, the greens this week, but I do think that some of the clubs, some of the private clubs they've played it on, have left quite a bit of grass on them. But this venue tonight, this green here tonight, is immaculate, to be honest, and it has been running nice. To me, fair, it's been a pleasure to play on.
Yeah.
Sort of regardless how I got on, I mean, it's probably the best surface I've played on this week, if I'm being honest.
Right.
So that's probably why you've seen some good bowling tonight. Off the 8 lads, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quality throughout the evening.
Absolutely.
And John just underlining that by putting another one right on top of the jack. Early days yet. 2-1 to John. How do you see this final going, Callum? I know John's a great friend of yours. I'm sure Simon is as well.
Two very good friends of mine. Obviously, John personally is a close personal friend of mine, but I equally do have an awful lot of time for Simon and a tremendous amount of respect for him. As far as I'm concerned, I know obviously a few people have been saying that they feel I'm the number one player in the game at the minute, but as far as I'm concerned, Simon is the best player in our sport and has been the last sort of 12 months or so. I think he's so solid as a player, doesn't have a single weakness in his game, and I think for me he is sort of the strongest player in our sport, if I'm being honest. I think he's the hardest man to beat, to be truthful. I think based on tonight's play, if you had to pick a winner before the start of the final, in my opinion, it'd be a non-event, because the way Simon's played in his 2 games compared to how John's played, I think Simon's been far superior to John. But as we all know, with this lovely game we play, it's all on the game you play. And
exactly.
Well, we're actually speaking about that before you arrived.
Were you?
We said Simon has played immaculate. John's just about sort of got through, not playing particularly well. Of course, now the green, it's going to start getting a bit pushier. As you know, things can change.
Yeah.
I think I'd completely agree with you, Mike. I think it's just been a bit scratchy, John, tonight. But I mean, to be honest, the last 10 minutes of that game with Tommy Johnson, I thought he played some good bowls, really, at some important times.
Big pressure ball.
He did,
Big second balls.
Yeah.
Big pressure ball player,
Iffy
John.
one. Tommy's stepped in and he's come with a big one.
Yeah. And
He's
when he
on the
gets
edge now. Here we go.
That's right. He's on his favourite edge. And when he gets a sniff of a title, John, like yourself, Callum, like Simon, it just seems to go up another gear.
Yeah, I think so. And
I'll just now hand over to the tournament organiser, Daniel Jones. Dan, congratulations on another superb event. You've got the crowd out tonight. You've even laid on the weather.
Yeah.
And absolutely delighted for you. So I'll hand over to you to say a few words on proceedings.
Thank you. Evening, gents.
Hey, Dan.
What do you think of the final so far?
Well, we've only had 3 ends, Dan, but I think the night itself has been superb. We've had the weather. We've been talking about the green. It's in superb condition. The crowd is there must be 300-400, and it's one of the top. It's one of the top days in the calendar of bowls in Wales now. This, without a doubt. This and the Welsh Merit, they're the top 2 events.
Yeah, you won't see a bigger crowd other than the Merit for an event round here, will you?
I agree. We have said that, it's quiet, but I have
Yes.
told them we're quite posh here in Rolls. They don't understand it, Roger, now, coming from Manchester.
I did think the first couple of years you hosted this, it was a little bit more vocal, to be honest. But like you said, it has been quite quiet tonight. Maybe sometimes you need the games to help the crowd out in them kind of cases. Before in previous years, you've had a couple of games that have spiced the crowd up and got them.
Yeah.
Well, I think
got them
Bailey
involved,
20 all. He's won 21-20, and he's the local hero, and it was still quiet.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah.
Maybe the weight of all the money who's back due, maybe.
Well, I think the majority had back Bailey. I had a little look, and there was a long list of names under Bailey's name, as you would expect.
Simon's played marvellous the first 2 games, so I'd expect this final to be very close, to be honest.
He's the best ref in the game. DT Evans.
DT being cheeky again.
Sorry, Mike Holden's not here, so we replaced him with Mike Chamberlain. So
Good move.
sorry, Mike.
Mike Holden, we do miss you, but I think because you said how quiet the crowd was, I don't think they allowed you into Wales this year, Mike. So anyway, come back again soon. We miss you.
And I'm better looking than you, Mike, anyway, and you know it.
It's debatable, isn't it, Cal?
I'm not sure. I think I agree with Mike on that one. Yeah. Mike Holden would frighten a robber's dog, to be fair.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. So I'll pass my commentary duties back to Roger and the professionals. So I'll let everyone else enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the final.
Hardly, Dan, hardly. But thank you on behalf of everyone and everyone here for making it another night to remember. Thanks, Dan. And mate, keep up the good work.
Might get in on the skinny side here, Roger.
Yes, he has. Oh, I think he's just been unlucky.
Yeah, it's been very unfortunate there. Yeah,
yes, just gone on to a little bit of a bare patch that's just in those corners and just trickled through.
I'm sure the both of you have played John many times before, have you?
Oh, absolutely. I have. Yes.
The only reason I say that is obviously John's bowls are very renowned for being on the weak side.
They are indeed. But he uses them to maximum advantage, and he's left-handed. To
absolutely,
add to add to the nightmare for right-handers. And we saw it there in that game, and Mike and I were talking in the semi-final when we played Tommy Johnson, because we were sort of like right down the line of going up and down this middle of the green, and the difference in the land
is incredible.
It is.
Yeah, I just brought that up then, Mike. You know, I was just saying to Roger, I don't know if you played obviously JB a few times. I'm sure you have,
yes.
But the bowls he sends
slightly weak.
slightly. It's very kind.
Well, yeah, it is kind.
Well,
we've got Glyn here, so I'm just going to pass over to Glyn because he can't wait to have a chat. Probably talk about Wolves and football.
I'm not gagging. I'm not gagging. I'm not. No. The Wolves are winning, by the way, 2-1. No.
Well, they beat Man City in some pre-season tournament, so it's all gold and black at the moment, Glyn.
It was only penalties, Roger, and it was only a friendly. Don't let's get too carried away. Yeah?
Never mind. I think they're on the up. But anyway, how do you see this final going then, Glyn?
Well, I've played John a couple of times in this. It might be, but in a couple of finals, and he obviously is very tidy on the green. But Simon's picked it up well, and now it's gone a bit stiffer. I think Simon will be hard to beat, but I don't know. It's going to be a good final. I know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch this. Hey, up. Oh, straight through the gap.
It's the second gap he's had in two ends.
Saying, Glenn, to be fair, based on the way they've played tonight, you'd have to make Simon a strong favourite. I think he's played really, really well against yourself and against Wayne, whereas JB's been a bit scratchy, really, but obviously dug in and managed to find a way to win his two games. But obviously, you just never know, do you? What's gone before is gone. And in a way, like, I'll be truthful with you, I know obviously how desperate John is to win this, obviously it being for what the cause is and being such a close friend to Daniel. And having lost in 3 finals already, I think he's trying so hard to win this.
No, you're absolutely right, Cal. And it would mean a lot to John if he won it, and as I've been so close. And when we've got a 3 times winner here to my left, and so he knows a bit about the green. And does it go really heavy past 8 o'clock, as they say?
Yes, it did, Roger. Yeah. I haven't been past 8 o'clock for a couple of years now, so my memory's not quite as it was. But
still
it
a 3-time winner, though, Glenn.
Well, we can't take them away from you, can
Exactly. Well, Simon's leading very well in these corners.
Yeah, against me, he played short marks, and he was very he's immaculate, really, and I just hit wrong and a few. And when you're 10-0 down, it doesn't bode well.
No.
But he's changed his game now, his tactics, because he's good at reaching Simon.
What a ball that is! That is absolutely tremendous.
Practically 2 touches in the corners.
Yeah.
Just saying before as well, Glenn, I think a lot of people don't quite give Simon the credit he deserves for his short game, because I think a lot of people associate Simon with just wanting to... What a bowl that is.
Just played
Wow.
a marvellous bowl to beat
What a
those
bowl.
2 balls either side of the jack.
Well, you'll not
What a bowl.
You'll not see a better end of bowls
No.
anywhere you go.
All season, no.
No.
What an amazing. And that was so important because Simon was poised there to go 7-3 up, but now with it being 1 to John, after that
5-4.
miracle bowl, it's
Yeah.
4-5, John leading out.
Look, Callum, you're right. Simon
Yeah.
can play any distance. It's just people's perception, really, of where they
Absolutely.
think, if you're watching.
But I think his short game's brilliant,
Really,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
I don't think he quite
Yeah.
gets the credit he deserves,
Yeah.
because people just associate him with wanting to go long all the time, and
yeah,
and obviously that last end's proof, obviously, how good he is over a distance. But
correct.
I do think his short game is
Yeah.
very, very tidy as well, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
with
he's a
that.
great all-round player, as you
Yeah.
said, Cal. Like you, both you gentlemen here, you haven't got to the top of the game, both of you, with only having one type of game to play. You can
No,
you've got to
you're right,
adapt.
you've
You've got to adapt quickly and
Yeah,
play anything.
yeah. And he hasn't let that affect him. Look, he's gone straight back and played a good one.
That's a sign of a top player from just obviously, your average good players. The difference is there that they would have probably been thinking about that end for the
Yeah.
next couple of 3 ends, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
straight away,
yeah.
the professionalism.
They'd have
Yeah.
gone to sleep for 5 minutes.
They would have done,
Yeah.
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 Simon
So-
straight in and bang,
Mm.
snots one on.
And it was an important end for John to try and get in here because I think he's eyeing up this middle of the green that favoured him so well against Tommy Johnson.
Yeah, he's probably thinking his arm and his
His
different type of bowls.
I think John's bowls suit over this middle, don't they? Because
I
they
think you're
just
right.
they just kick back, don't they, and just
Mm.
weave back.
I think Simon's in anyway, isn't he?
Yes, it
So-
looks like Simon's in.
Mm.
Yeah, signals the
Yeah.
one. Goes to 6-4 and he can move John away from this middle of the green.
There's Neville tangling
Nev.
us up.
Land Nev. Nev tried to get a piece of the commentary, then, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, correct. My mate, Angel.
Yes,
Mm.
John Bancroft,
Mm.
Neville's son. What a player! What a player he was.
Yeah.
Would you compare the top players of our day, Rog, and
Mhm.
your day, I know you were still playing at top level,
Mm.
compare them with the boys now?
Oh wow, there's loads of debate of,
Yeah.
of this, isn't there? And it's very difficult to come up with the right answers. It is difficult. I just think, Mike, I think the players nowadays,
It's a ball.
the top players are as good. I just don't think there is quite as many of them. If you entered, let's say, for instance, Patrick Croft, the 41 up, and it was 128 in it, there was probably 120 he didn't want to play.
Yeah.
That's how difficult it was in those days. I'm not saying it's so easy now. It's just that there was lots more of them. There's more people playing the game, and there was more top players.
But would you agree, Glenn? I mean, this is only my perspective on it, but obviously having watched, as JB's just played 2 Raspers there,
Yeah,
Um,
brilliant balls.
Great bowls. Yeah,
all I would say is just having watched a few of the videos from the Bassmasters in years gone by, obviously when the game was in its heyday, the style of the game, and maybe myself and Greg Smith arguably are responsible for that, but the style of the game seems to have changed as in
Undoubtedly,
today's
undoubtedly.
market compared to what it was
Yeah.
back then.
yeah.
Back then, I never seemed to see anybody playing short marks, and maybe the striking wasn't as such an important element of the game. Whereas today, it's a valuable asset to have. It seems to
Yeah.
me. That's just my perspective on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
I do agree with it, Callum. There's a lot to be said for the type of game that you play. Just using you as an example, there's a lot to be said for that. I think what used to happen in yesteryear, even when I going back, was we were playing with wooden jacks. Invariably, most people had wooden bowls. The game was more difficult to play because you had to read the green and know where your bowl needed to go and get the territory for it to get near to the jack. I know that sounds like I'm trying to tell people how to suck eggs. And nowadays it's a little bit easier. You play with a plastic jack and plastic bowls and they follow it like an exocet. And if you're very tidy at playing a short game, you can do that very successfully. And if the opponent doesn't hit right or whatever, you'll do well at the game.
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
a number of years ago. Wooden stuff was much more difficult to get them close, even on a short
Right.
mark.
And the accuracy of striking these days, from the like yourself and you know a lot of the other younger players now, it's so unerring with these balls. You're absolutely right. I mean, I think it's a huge skill in itself. But I mean, Callum, you don't miss many, and it's and it is a game-changing tactic, and lots of people have followed that example. But as Glenn says, the wooden bowls back in the day, that I think it just lent itself to people going longer distances, playing corners. I mean, Glenn, you're old school like myself, and that's how games were won, weren't they? Back then it was in the corners.
The theory was that if you could play a long mark and put them near Roger, you had more chance of winning the games than if you played a short mark and winning or putting them
Lead
near.
from Simon.
It's a different game, and these young lads are very good, like Callum again and Greg Smith. They're very good at hitting them. You know, they don't miss very many. When it's 20 odd yards,
Yeah.
they're more likely to hit than miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine Callum playing at the Patrickcroft, because you know what such a short, small green that was.
Yeah.
Put 'em near against
Yeah.
him, he'd be rifling them up. They'd be going through the windows.
Well, I've played at Patrickcroft one night against Mike Knowles, and he broke me bowls, actually.
Did he?
He only broke one of them, because he only broke one of them. He ended up with 3 bowls. Yeah. I threw the insert back in and got on with it.
Well, no, yeah, it's yeah, as you say, different times. Now back to this final, and Simon's just stole a couple just along this edge here.
Yeah, he's just nicked a couple, Roger, up this edge, hasn't he? He's just caught John wide, hasn't he, with both his bowls up this edge. Yeah, just.
And is that, do you think, the difference in the bias of
think
the
so.
bowls?
Yeah. I
John
do.
just sticking them out and them not coming back. They need a little bit of bite to get back to the jackal on this edge, I think. And
I mean, John obviously knows his own bowls. There's no that goes without saying. But they do, you know, they do wander around a little bit. And Simon's probably thinking if he goes on something a little bit different, John might be just guessing on the land again.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, going round peg along this edge, looking for the bias to kick in and bring it back to the jack. But he's left a bit of room this time. Slightly uphill that way. John will want to step in immediately.
His road.
What a run.
Might have just wriggled by it, but there was a thicker contact than he would have wanted.
Yeah. They're not world beaters, are they?
No. Further with this, Simon.
He's on a good road as well.
Yeah, excellent correction from Simon Coupe. And I think it's nestled behind the
Just
jack.
about to say, Roger, it seems to have just tucked itself behind the back of the jack, doesn't it? So
You could still hit that, Cal, couldn't you?
I'd fancy hitting it, yeah,
I
yeah.
would think
9
you'd get
times
over
out of
top
10.
that jack and get that out.
Good effort, this.
Really good effort. Oh, what a
Oh,
ball.
wow.
What a ball.
What a ball that is.
Absolute dead front
Yeah.
toucher from John Bailey. And that was really important in the context of the game. Gets him back within 2, gets him off this mark. And John can lead out now, 7-9.
Yeah, it's just stood to go 4 in front there, Roger, again, didn't he? Leading out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been quite confident coming back down the edge finger as well, with what's gone before.
John's changed his normal tactics. He wouldn't normally go all the way in the corners with Simon, but he probably thinks with the use of the jack and the green going off, it's worth a whirl.
Looks to be a lot narrower here,
Yes.
to be honest.
Yes, I don't think he liked it from
Money's
when
too
he
far.
sent it. No, I'll be disappointed with that lead.
Not be so bad.
Yeah, 5 foot, 6 foot.
Yeah. He looks as though he's cut across it again to me.
Well, he's not short, is he?
He isn't short.
Certainly
is he?
reached.
No, he needs to hit something, else he's off again.
Is there a little yellow thing in the way?
There isn't.
Oh, wow.
It was very close.
It was only the speed that kept
Yeah.
letting him keep that road.
It's gone big 2 yards over. And Simon says thank you very much, and gets two. But thank you very much, Glenn, for coming to see us and have a chat. Always a pleasure to get your insight. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Nice to see you, mate.
All the best.
So, John's scratching around here. Just can't see him winning this game.
Well, I'm not sure about that choice of tactics. I don't know about you, Mike, but
I
I'm not so
expect
sure.
him to go down that front edge. When he got in then, I thought,
Yeah.
go down that front edge. That's the edge he plays well.
I agree with you. Either that or come towards us and try and get across this middle where he's finished the game with Tombo. He's played marvellous at the end there. And I just think they're the two areas he needs to exploit if he's going to get success in this final.
Yeah, I was surprised that he did. He's almost like playing Simon's game there. Just thought he'd have a dabble with it, but John has got amazing resilience. So it would be a bit foolish to write him off too quickly now. But he does need to start leading.
Big hit.
It's fine one. Yeah, that was a big
could
hit.
be the turning
Needed
point.
that, didn't he?
He did.
Apologise to
He's
Simon.
leading that 2 yard over. Plenty of room for another for Simon, and he's had a good hit. And
This won't pass the jab, will it? Look to have put it down light.
All right. Excellent call, Callum. You were
Thought
spot on.
Put it down quite light. This is where you've got to make your twos, haven't you, Roger, at this level now? You've got to be punishing them.
Yes.
Simon won't play so many balls like that ever this season, so you've got to pair up here.
he has to miss. It's two.
It's
all
two
the
all
way.
day, yeah, two all day.
John, I think it's
Where's he
you,
going now?
Callum.
Got to come to
Duly
us, I think.
obliges.
His finger, our thumb, straight down towards us. He either comes towards us or he goes bang along that gully, but I think he needs to come towards us and get across this middle knee.
Yeah.
I think Callum thinks we're right-handers.
Oh yeah, forgot you two cack-handers here, yeah. I'm surrounded by
That's it. It's the
surrounded
Going
by
for the edge,
lefties.
Going for the edge.
lefty union, Michael and myself. But, well, he's having one more go down these dips, and he may even be looking for this along this edge. He did get some change out of this earlier in the Tommy Johnson game. Played a few good balls along here. Yeah.
So commentating with Rafael Nadal and Feliciano Lopez here at Wimbledon, isn't it? Oh, crack-handers.
And some people would say I'm just as slow as Nadal.
You said that, not me, Roger. It's far enough anyway.
Is he on top side?
Just a bit too near us, is he, Mike?
He is.
It's all right there. I think you're best off being top side there than underneath.
Doesn't go much underneath though, because it's a bit thicker grass there on that edge. You think if it goes underneath it will go off, but it doesn't. There's a bit thicker and it
Just
seems
gone
to
there,
stop on.
two,
to
yeah.
Daly.
I think he'll go along this edge now. Look again.
Yeah, there you go.
For this, he does play it well.
He goes straight peg, yeah. It's a massive launching along this edge. You've really got to get them there, you know. The first 10 yard, it doesn't look like it, but it's severely uphill, and then sort of just levels off. But
Yeah, coming out of the dips is
absolutely, yeah.
and he seems to just nail the line, and the ball slides back down to the jack, especially with John's balls. 2 foot over. He won't be absolutely happy with it, especially when he's playing the quality of Simon.
Looks to have won it.
Yeah, looks to have gone in. Yes, the crowd confirm it's won it.
You know what they say? All the best players are on the side of the green.
As always, Mike.
Yes. They've never sent a bad
And
ball
here
yet.
we are.
Indeed. Simon looks as though he's going to be really positive at this. Side toucher from John. And he really is having a go at this. Takes John's second ball out, so it's 1 to John.
1 to John, new leader.
And as quick as that, yes, we have a new leader.
Well, just going back, I know going off subject again, but going back to the game, obviously, when it was its heyday, obviously, like you two guys all remember, do you think that, obviously Glyn alluded to it earlier on, possibly about the standard, maybe the top players are maybe similar sort of standard to the top players, Len, but there wasn't maybe the volume of players. But would you agree about the characters in the game? What do you think then? Because I've watched a lot of bowls of years gone by, and I would love to have been involved in the game when it was in its heyday and on the television all the time. I'd have lapped that up. But back then there does seem to be a bit more characters in the game, whereas today maybe not as much. But you two would know better than me. I'd like you just to
I hand over to my esteemed
give me some
colleague,
feedback on
Mr.
that.
Chamberlain, who is one of those characters to which Callum refers.
Well, I was brought up when I was playing with Freddie Hume.
Yes.
No need to say any more.
Oh yeah. No, absolute legend that is
And you
Freddie.
had Vernon Lee.
Yeah.
Wandering off after his balls,
Yeah.
giving it all the dancing.
Yes.
There were loads of characters. It was
The master
fantastic.
tactician Joe Bradbury. I mean, we can reel them all off. But the individuality of the players, we're almost encouraged. They were seen as entertainers as well as obviously top bowlers who play to win. And Mike Leach, who's still plying his trade now, and always had a word or two to say to the crowd about how the game was going, or
Another one
a
for John.
bowl.
Yeah.
But,
And of course
went in
then
his favour or didn't.
You would play on the panel, and there were characters there. You had the Ronnie Vincent, and I played Ronnie Vincent once on Red Lion. He would never watch him when I was sending the jack out or my ball. He never watched. He was talking to the crowd, and I'd play a ball like 6 inch off. He just beat it without even looking.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it-
But characters on the panel, they were fantastic.
And the panel was really the breeding ground for these characters, because they would get merciless stick from the crowd, especially if the crowd had sort of like backed them and they were losing their money, and they played a bad ball, so they had to be able to give it back to the crowd and stand their ground. And I think that toughened up a lot of bowlers.
It made you play the right ball. You just couldn't be short if there was on with
They'd
a
probably
side
condemn you
touch.
for it, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
match
but,
I played, I got plenty. Who's this Chamberlain from Stockport? Where's he from? Can he play? You've got to play.
Yeah.
You've got to play and show him. You've got to stand up, be strong, and show him.
And it was so cutthroat back then in terms of yes, there was loads of competitions, yes, there was big fields, but they knew if they played a poor game, they were gone. They were out. And yes, there's fewer players now, but in terms of the top quality players like Callum, it's sad to say, but there are fewer around in the game plying their trade. But I think it just back then there were so many good players, it just hardened them up, and players, well, they were such
Callum
characters.
playing Vernon Lee. Oh wow! I'd love to have seen
yeah,
that.
Yes. I think the crowd back then, they used to get big crowds.
We'd have
as
had
well.
some fun, Mike, I'll tell you.
There'd be about
That's what it's
5 or
about.
6 deep watching that one. Yeah.
Now then, Simon's got John back up this edge again, and the same again. He's just hung a bowl. Maybe he was 18 inches short there, but just caught him to back again, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a fascinating pattern this game is taking, with the game swinging one way then the next. Simon will be disappointed that he didn't get by that bowler John. So John's got a free
Go
shot
back to
here.
the striking. I think John's a very good striker, I do, and I'm sure he'll be striking at this.
He's not
He's got a
hesitating.
free shot here.
Here he comes. He's looking at it. Body language says he's got something,
Jack's
and
gone.
he has.
Half a love. Gone for the ball.
Yeah.
Got the jack.
Second prize.
He'll probably still settle for that. Take Simon away from that part of the green where he was getting a bit of change. It will be a longer edge now to play. Let's see if Simon goes up there.
We're still none the wiser who's going to win this final, are we?
No, it's very finely poised. It's nip and tuck all the way.
13-12 to JB, so yeah. How's your week been this week, Mike? Anyway, in the festival.
we're not talking about that.
Okay then, swiftly moving on.
You saw me duck out last night.
Where was it? Which green were you on?
Llandudno.
Llandudno.
Big green. It was
Yes.
quite pushy.
It was quite pushy.
It
Yeah.
is pushy, and it's a big green, so you've got
Yeah.
to get there in the corners.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a good game. Lost to Paul Wally, who's a club mate of mine. He plays
Yeah.
for Wales as well. He's a real nice
Yes,
lad.
Yes.
We had a good game, and he's just gone and done me in the end. And he's in the final 8 of the big sweep tomorrow. So good luck to Paul.
Yeah, he won't be far away. Paul's always there or thereabouts in all the North Wales competitions. Had a great run of form over the last 4 or 5 years, and playing really well.
I think John's
Wales is
going to be
number 12,
striking
isn't he?
again here. Sorry, just cutting across. I think John likes to go 2 down here. I would imagine he's going to be ripping these again. Oh, it's just quite
Zion,
conservative.
Looking at it.
What a good hit.
He's got
Oh,
both
that's
out.
unlucky.
And he's got his on. It's all his
barely
ball has
won.
flopped in on the edge of the green. I think.
One
it is
down, one to Coupe, I think.
No.
I'm going to
Simon's
one
kicked
to
them in.
Bailey.
One to Bailey. One to Bailey.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
a big moment. That is a big moment.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. It is potentially. And Simon's starting to think, what have I got to do? I keep putting the balls there. He's beat a front toucher when I came up here. Beat me with a front toucher when I went up the edge before. And now he's taking 2 fantastic balls of mine out. What have I got to do?
I think
Just
all these
can't get
cameramen
rid of
have
this
backed
man.
Mr. Bailey as well in the final here.
They're saying nothing. The lads are saying nothing. Oh, he slipped up with his lead here, John. Chance for
Full
Simon.
lead. It's far enough his big side.
Stalking it.
Yeah, he's looking.
Think
He's,
he
He's
likes
he's
it.
urging it on for a finish now. Yes, that's a superb ball.
You know when you've sent one, don't you?
Yeah.
He's got to try and lick it now and play a good second because his first ball's given him no shot really, is it?
No. He's not being shy though, John, and he is looking at it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's a
It's a good effort.
great effort. So it might have
You
even
are kidding.
rested Simon out. I mean, this is just unbelievable bowling.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 1 to John. 1 to John. Simon, I don't think will believe this.
incredible.
Even DT Evans, the ref, seemed to be
Yeah.
making a bit of a joke at Simon there.
Yeah. Yes. That was rubbing it in when the hand
Absolutely.
went up and then it went down like a swallow from the referee. That's a jaw dropper, is it not, gents?
Well, he's
Absolutely,
counting
yeah.
that, Simon. He's thinking,
Counting
don't
that,
get. Let me go and get another one. And then Simon, and then John has come with a ball. It's a miracle ball, really.
Incredible ball. So
He
we all
doesn't
know
finish
DT
it,
Evans has
you know,
got
there's
his
still a
5 on
chance
though,
of
don't we?
Simon to just get into this.
So right, gents, I'm going to ask the both of you. Right, I'll start with you, Michael. What would you play here now on this ball?
Well, I've been playing 2 yard through. You can. The jack is showing. You could hit the jack. I think Callum would probably strike.
What,
But seeing
Callum,
as-
over to you. What
I'd
would
be
you do?
ripping these into 1,000 pieces. That's what I'd be doing.
Why are we not surprised?
Different
There we
era.
go.
Why are we not
Yeah,
surprised?
this is the ball I'd play. This
Yeah.
is the ball I'd play.
Bit of finesse. A bit of
Yeah.
finesse.
There's
It's
a-
old school.
It-
Old school.
It's
Yeah.
too difficult, this.
Everybody's waited to see the outcome. Unlucky.
Very
You
unlucky.
see,
You're
Callum
right.
would strike,
Yeah,
it'd be over and done within
See-
a split of a second.
Yeah.
I'll play through. It keeps the crowd on the toes as he hit.
Callum would have obliterated everything, and
Well,
and-
not
and it
everything.
wouldn't
I'd
be
have
one down.
I'd have put JB's bowl in someone's boot and got the jack on lead on, 1 to Coupe, but there we go. Play a different game in Preston, don't they? All greedy. Trying to get 2s everywhere, don't they?
What's
Oh,
the
dear.
game come to, Roger?
Yeah, I know. It's a different game. I watch a different game these days. Yeah, we used to say the yard over ball was the most damaging ball in the game.
We
in the
did.
game, didn't we?
We did,
Yeah, just play
yes.
yard over, 1 down, 2
That
to
was-
me.
that
Thank
was
you
in
very
the
much.
80s though.
Bit of finesse.
I think Tommy Johnson's the best player that I've ever
Oh,
seen at that bowl.
Yeah.
And when he does it to you, it really hurts.
Oh, it
You know,
does,
when
it
them
does.
balls come off, they really do knock you for 6, to be honest.
And Brian Duncan, the great man, said that was the most damaging ball in the game, and he was a master at it as well. You probably didn't see Brian at his pomp.
No, didn't quite have the pleasure. No.
What a
one
player.
of the best players that's
and
ever
they cut
played,
from the
probably.
same cloth, Tommy Johnson and Brian Duncan.
And who would you say is the best player that you have played with at club level? Not county level, club level. Because you played at Sale,
Yeah.
I played at
Yeah.
Dragon, so, you know, the best two teams in Cheshire, we played each other.
Yeah, well,
Who would you say was the best player you played
We're all
with?
going John's way at the minute.
It's a very good question. We've had a lot of good players at Sale. The daddy of them all, who has been at Sale for years and years and years, and I didn't see him in his absolute prime, but everyone looks up to him is Roy Armson, and he was prolific. His concentration was absolutely incredible. But going back to those days, I mean, I talk about concentration written all over somebody's face. Stan Frith was a master,
he was, yeah.
Absolute
The
master of
nugget.
concentration. Yeah,
The Nugget.
yeah.
Cutting
Used
across
to
a
love
good lead
watching
from
him.
John again, as he's gone 16-12 in front. This is
I had the
tremendous.
pleasure of playing
lead
with
from
like John Bancroft when he was in his
Yes.
prime, and I used to play with Noel Burrows in a little team in Buxton, and he would not play for 2 or 3 months, and then he'd get his balls out, polish them up, and plat it, and you
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
what is this about?
Yeah, no,
Class act.
that's a very good shout. No,
And then, of
Burrows,
course,
I was playing
Ken
so-
Strutt, I played with,
Mm.
wonderful player. I
Yeah,
mean, Noel's still
really nice.
playing, he's playing on the panel.
and
I mean, he was class.
he can still pull out big performances even now. No, bless him.
looking at this chap's here.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
a
and
good
he's
ball.
good, yeah.
What a brilliant
what
ball
a
that
big
is.
ball there from Simon. John
A
Counting
proper ball,
there.
that, Roger, you see.
Yeah, there's
2
that,
yards
there's that
through,
2-yarder
not smacking
through,
things
damaging
about as
ball.
Callum would do. It was
Absolutely.
a proper ball, Callum.
I'll tell you
You're
what, Mike,
watching?
he needed that, you know.
He did.
Stood to go 17-12. Was it 2 there? Was it
I
was he
think-
line
I think
2,
it could. It
John?
was
Could have
definitely
got
one.
18-12
Yeah,
nearly.
it could have been 18.
And now it's
12.
14-16. What
I
a
know they
swing
couldn't
that'll be, that ball there.
Yeah.
Where's he going now?
Yeah, we
He'll
talked
go
about game
deep on his
changes,
finger
and
peg here.
that
Last
could be
time he
another
played full corners here, he played 2 Raspers, if you remember,
Yeah.
15 minutes ago.
one. Oh, he's changed it.
Well, I can't believe that.
He has changed it. Up to the middle of the crown.
He must have scuffed that jack out.
Yeah,
Surely he didn't mean
that's
to go there.
interesting. Well,
This is what I'm
Yeah,
saying
the
to you
thing
about
is-
Simon, though. He's a jack of all trades. He
Yeah,
can play
yeah,
anything
yeah.
he wants.
and that's a good lead.
It's just on the side, though, Roger, isn't it? You don't
Yeah,
want it sticking
yeah.
there, do you, really? Got everything
No,
to
you're
play
right.
out there, haven't you?
But
Surprised me
nice.
John didn't play past the end there, you know, because he's got everything to
bad
play out
ball.
there. It's a
That's a
poor
bad-
bowl, that.
It is going a little bit deader now. They're coming out of that really
You're right,
deep
Roger.
dip, and then, so it's all uphill. So
I
it's
still
just
think John will
capturing
be very
without the
disappointed
yeah,
he didn't
will be. He
reach
will
at
be.
that, really.
Simon's
And now
punished him.
he's given himself no shot. He's going to have to strike at these, to be honest.
Well, if he's short to this, we're bringing him off.
Oh, you're right. It's okay. No stretcher required. And he's got
Saved
one.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, Simon just venting his frustration that John hits everything. Even if it's saving one, he's still got one out.
He's always wanting more, Simon. He could have a 3 at one end and he's still mum, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well, in fairness to Simon, he's probably thinking, I should be off the green now. I've put so many close balls in this final, but that's the beauty of this game. They don't count until the last ball is sent.
Proper bowling family counts. You know, I used to know Jeff, his dad.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you're a bit of a
Yeah,
character,
really
you
good
know,
player.
Jeff.
Oh, definitely.
Was he a good
definitely.
player, Mike? Jeff, Simon's dad, was
Really
he?
good, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was.
And then
He had
his
his
mum-
moments.
His mum played.
Yeah.
She
Was
was a good player.
Barbara?
Barbara?
Barbara,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
nice woman, you know.
Yes, yes,
You'd watch
yes.
her play. I used to watch her play at the Isle of Man, and she'd have ridiculous hits against, and she'd be smiling away. And then thinking, Barbara, why are you smiling when you've had a ridiculous hit?
Yeah.
She's just smiling all the time. A lovely woman.
Yes, a real lady. John's just beaten Simon's lead. Giving Simon a bit of a problem here. I think I know what Callum would play.
Absolutely.
Well, he's certainly
It's-
into it
it's
here.
a 2-yard over
Doesn't
ball.
like it.
No, and that's it. Sometimes the contours of the green can grab a ball that's being played just with 2-yard overweight.
It looks a bit to back here, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you know, John again knowing the green. Got a little bit out of that, and he
Stayed
got
in.
two. He got two. That is big. That
Got a
is
bit of
big
a
down
gap
there.
now.
Yeah, and he's back along this edge if he wants to go for it. The bottom edge along the shelter. Yeah, and
I think he's tasting victory here.
straight away looking at it.
15.
Yeah, you can almost smell it, can't you, Mike?
Yeah,
To be fair.
yeah.
Callum, you had a memorable night here a couple of years ago when
did,
you won,
yeah.
and you played John in the final,
I
didn't
played, John in the final. It was a tough final because we're close pals, but yeah, I played John in a final.
Yes.
It was a good final, to be honest. It was a
fantastic final.
I had a brilliant semi-final with some lad named Smith. That was good as well.
Yeah, and
Brought the
I
bath
think,
towels on.
and looking at the hits on YouTube of the games.
Yeah,
I think that year
that
got the
semi-final
most
yeah.
views.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yes, I remember your game against John in the final. What a final that was,
Yes,
and what a
absolutely.
semi-final that was against Greg.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it anyway.
So, what happy memories for you coming back here?
Yes, definitely.
Simon's striking at this because John's line 2 and he's missed, and that is now got John at all but
Now
15. Well, how's John feeling now? For years he's been playing this competition,
So
3
close.
finals, been so close.
I think if he does win, I think you'll see quite a lot of emotion from John, because I had a chat with him just before he went on the final, and he seemed quite emotional before he got on.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't see that a lot off John,
No,
but I think he
no.
really passionately wants to win this event because of obviously what it's all played for and what it means,
Yeah.
and with him and Daniel being such close pals.
Yes. I think it
And
means
he's
an
playing
awful
well
lot
at the
to him.
minute. He played well last night, Mike, didn't he? And Alan Jones to win that. He played solid. I don't think it was a particularly
It was a
great
good fight.
final,
No,
but I think
close
John played
final.
solid. Yeah, it was a close final. Could have
Yeah.
gone either way in the
It
end, I
could,
think,
yeah.
to be honest.
He just manages to dig it out when
That's it. He
Well,
goes up a
it could
gear
go
when he
either way,
needs to
but he
find
just-
something.
something there. He just finds something.
And
And
it-
well, he's led a good one.
It's not a bad lead for
Yeah.
game, is it?
No, it's a good lead.
Well,
at the
Simon's
side, okay.
never one to give up.
He's given
so-
it a chance with this.
And he's picked the jack again, Simon. I don't know whether it's run in his favour, but it was a hell of an effort, and it's made
DT
it
will
awkward.
tell us.
If John lies on here, it makes it very awkward for Simon, I think. DT has a decision to make, and he's taking his time over it. He knows how big it is.
We don't usually sit on the fence.
There's the shout. John is favourite. Now, John's having a think here. What do I do? Do I try and play another?
Do you know what I'd do? I'd walk up to the end because
Without
if you're
question, Mike, yeah.
if you're on, you don't have to play a good one.
No.
No.
If you're on, you'd stay well away from it and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let him do what he wants to do
But you
to
want
it.
to know that you are on. You don't want to play short.
He's playing one
and
in the way.
trust-
He's
well,
trusted
trusting
he's trusted his
DT.
DTs.
I know
yeah,
he's
Trusted
good
DT,
DT, but-
and he's dropped one right in the way. Now this is awkward. This is really awkward. It all depends. We can't tell whether it is in the way, but he's made it very awkward for Simon. And Simon's.
saying about
I don't know whether
DT,
he's
but-
gone lower, but he's gone at it. He's missed the short bowl. He's missed everything.
It's gonna
I
be
don't know whether
measured.
he got the gap, and he's looking.
By everyone's
bemused.
expressions down
He
there,
must
it
have got
seems
the
that
gap
he's gone
between the
straight
two
through the
balls.
gap by the looks of it. There doesn't look a gap to go through for me, does there? To be fair.
Simon looks completely perplexed at how that didn't hit anything. But it is awkward down there.
I hope
The
for
balls
for John's sake though that DT has got this right, because
I have very little doubt that DT is wrong. DT has the.
there's no doubt
respect
Simon
of
will
the
bang to
players.
stick a measure on it. Simon's eyes, as he
Yes.
by his own admission, he says that his eyes are the worst, so he's going to have to stick a measure on it.
He's looking hard.
Surely he's got to have measures. We just have them. Get them measured.
I think the body language is John. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Simon has conceded. And John Bailey wins the 2019 Craig Roberts Memorial Invitation against Simon Coupe by 21-15. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your company, Callum.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure.
Another great evening's entertainment, and we are absolutely delighted to have witnessed another great night.
Yeah, seemed like quite a popular winner as well. So I think quite a lot of people have backed him. I think all the Yorkshire lot sitting by us have backed him. They're all on. So yeah.
Yes, they're forming an orderly queue with the bookmakers. The bookmakers were going to fill their satchels, but John Bailey has made sure that they go home relatively empty-handed.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks very much, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this coverage.